Move to Division 2 and Dublin breathe. 18 points to 210. We escape Cork with the 2 points. Obviously, that last shot by Brian Hurley. I mean, your live stream was interesting watching yourself and Matt. You watched that with two different lenses on that moment.
Yeah, like it was it was mad, all right. Like, I mean, because certainly watching it, like, or whatever, like, I think we both nearly expected the game to be a lot more one-sided to Dublin, or, Dublin maybe to sort of, Cork to put up a bit of a fight and then Dublin to pull away and win by 6 or 7 points. And at one stage in the game, it looked like that was going to happen because, Cork went down to 14 men, which, we'll obviously get onto. It was a criminal decision, obviously, for that second yellow card for Ian Maguire. And Dublin pulled away and took advantage and had a 5-point lead. And you were looking at it and thinking, there's no way Cork are going to come back. But then Lee Gannon gets sent off, another controversial red card. And that sort of evened it up. And Cork just got that momentum after that. Brian Hurley started finding a bit more space again. I thought Chris O'Jones had a very good game from a Cork perspective. Like he was, he set up the first goal. He also set up another goal, which was ruled out for a square ball, which again was one of them where it was like his foot was on the line, but like it was very, very close, and we've seen umpires and refs like give that before. So, I mean, it was very, very close. And I think Cork were a little bit harshly done by there. And they just didn't quite have the look. Like even Brian Hurley, he missed that chance by hitting the post, but there was a couple of minutes previously where he went through on goal and it was probably the easiest point he could have kicked in his life, but he put it miles wide. And I think that was just pressure because he realised right there that he's the opportunity to level this game up, and Cork have a serious chance of beating Dublin for the first time, I think, since 2014 or 2015 in the league. So it would have been a huge, huge moment. And Dublin massively got away with it. Like there was even a goal mouth scramble before the Brian Hurley goal, and then like Dublin were on the counter attack and Colin Basquel put it wide. Like Dublin,
my God, that one was. I was like, what is he doing?
Yeah, like he had so many options there. Like he could have set someone else up for a goal. Like Conor O'Callaghan was right in front of him. Could have set him up for a goal. Could have kept the ball. So yeah, like from a Dublin perspective, like there's a lot of worrying trends there that were there last year that are still there this year. Like again, defensively been cut open. We've seen that happen time and time again last year in the league. And it's happened. Like we've conceded 3 goals now in 3 matches. 3 goals in the last 2 games, against Limerick and Cork.
And in the Kildare game, Kildare should have got a goal as well.
Yeah, like I think O'Hanlon hit an effort onto the post, I remember.
From Archibald, yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose speaking of David O'Hanlon though, like I think he's putting himself in now as the number 1. Like I think he's nailing that position.
You don't think Comerford's coming back?
I don't know. Like I think between O'Hanlon and Evan Comerford, like it was like there wasn't too much. I thought Comerford's distribution was a lot better, in terms of kickouts, but I always felt that in terms of shot stopping, like it was fairly even really before the game. And I always felt that like Comerford does seem to have a bit of a mistake or two in him. We kind of seen that last year. And O'Hanlon's made 1 or 2 errors here or there, but I thought it was fairly even between the two. But looking at O'Hanlon yesterday, like that save from Brian Hurley, like hitting that onto the post, like unbelievable save. He makes a big save in the first half as well from Chris O'Jones. So he made some big saves and some big moments. And I thought he was Dublin man of the match yesterday.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Talk to me about the actual goals, though. The ones that Cork converted. The first one from Owen McSweeney in the 22nd minute, and then the second one, what a finish by Matty Taylor in the 54th minute.
Yeah, like 2 brilliant finishes, but like obviously Chris O'Jones wins the ball, sets it up for Owen McSweeney. Like it was just too easy for Cork to cut right through us, and even that second goal from Matthew Taylor as well, like just far too easy. Like we seem to always have this, like we seem to leave the square area free a lot of the time, and our full back line just pushes out, and we just leave that space for players to run into, and we don't seem to be able to get challenges in or sort of cover off that space. Like we've seen it time and time again from Armagh against Dublin last year. Kerry were doing it, and like in the first half, Cork were just like that diagonal ball into Chris O'Jones. Like every time Cork went long into that area of the field, Dublin were just having all sorts of problems, and Keane Murphy, I thought, was struggling big time with Chris Oak-Jones in that corner. And every time he got the ball, you felt like Cork had a goal opportunity. And that is worrying from a Dublin perspective, because people will say it's only the league and it's early days, but we've seen that last year in the league, and fair enough, we defended a lot better against Kerry in the All-Ireland semi-final the more the game went on. But I just think a lot of naivety there, and Dublin playing with fire a good bit. I think we will be good enough to get out of Division 2, but looking at it so far, the games against Cork and Kildare have been a lot closer than I expected, and you could make a case that Kildare and Cork should have beat us in both games. And I think if we had 2 defeats and a win versus Cork or a win versus Limerick, I think our conversation right now will be a lot different.
Oh, 100%. This is one of those things where you can't just ignore the worrying signs because Dublin have won on paper. And that's one of the things that annoys me so much about analysis sometimes in sport, is the analysis is fully based off the results. So if a player takes a shot and it goes wide, oh, he shouldn't have taken the shot. Or if he takes a shot and it goes over, oh, what a decision, what bravery. It's like, no, it's either the right decision to take the shot or it's the wrong decision to take the shot. Like, it's one of those two. And I think with Dublin, we should have been beaten by Cork and we should have been beaten by Kildare. If a better side had been playing us in Croke Park that night than Kildare, I think they would have put us to the sword. Honestly, if it had been a Roscommon, even the form that they're in, they would have cracked on for home. Dublin are vulnerable. They're there for the taking. Obviously, there's a couple more points I want to make about this game, but we can't talk about this game and not talk about the red cards. And I have a video here of the red cards. We're going to look at them real quick, and then we'll talk about them. So here are the 2 red cards.
The first one, now it had already been noted, and I think the referee came over with two fingers up to say this is the second time. Harsh. Likewise, okay, that's a foul, and the referee can say, he can go by the letter of the law and say, I'm right to give him a second note, and that means a second.
So we'll stop there. That's obviously the first one for Ian Maguire. Particularly the second one. Is that ever a yellow card?
No, definitely not. And even I've seen the yellow card back a couple of times, and I've seen the referees, I've seen him smiling a little bit as he's given the I don't know, it was a bizarre decision. I think it was probably one of the worst decisions that we've possibly ever seen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I saw them getting around them, and I have to say, because I watched this in the pub with a few of my friends, and I seen it happen, and I genuinely thought, okay, I think what was going on is that he booked the wrong player or something. I thought, honestly, because it was such a commotion around the ref about him giving a yellow card. And I was like, you don't really see that in the GAA around a yellow card unless it's so obviously wrong.
Yeah, and even originally I was thinking, did he say something to the referee, or because he didn't immediately give him a yellow. It wasn't like he just gave him a yellow straight away.
He gave him a yellow as he was walking away. Yeah, that's why you can see Maguire turn around and being like, what?
Yeah, there was about a 5 to 10 second period where and even Maguire, he looks annoyed first of all when he makes the challenge, but that's just because he's giving away the foul, and Dean Rock, as we know, is going to put that one over all day long. So. Yeah, it was a bizarre decision, because even with that, and I was even saying yesterday, Dean, I think Dean Rock even wanted to carry on. He had an opportunity to
I don't
score.
think Dean Rock noticed that his jersey been pulled.
No, ref could have just played advantage. He could have put it over the bar, and that was it. And I think the League Annan won with the second yellow again. Don't think it was.
We have the League Annan one here. Let's look at the League Annan one.
Just look at the reaction of him. He knows himself that I never sent off for this here, or I wouldn't be getting the second yellow. So it was disappointing to see that.
And I think that the second one really, we kind of, when they went off the ball, we reckon the referee was going to level it up. I think League Annan lays off the ball. I think he expects Sean Powter's coming in, and he's just standing his ground. And in typical fashion, it's going to be evened up. But the first Ian Maguire's one was a appalling decision, really.
I mean, there you go. I think the point that Kieran Whelan makes is spot on. I think League Annan is giving off the hand pass. He just sees Sean Powter coming towards him. me and you have both played GAA, and I played to this day. When a player's running at you, you tense up. You're expecting the player to come and hit you a shoulder. Like, that's all Lee did there. He wasn't like Sean Powter just pulled out of the shoulder last minute. He decided he wasn't going to do it, but Lee's still ready for it. And that's all that happened there. Like, I think even then the ref with the little smile, it's like he knew that was going to cause some shit. Like, I don't know. Did you agree with that?
Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, it was a strange one, all right. Like, and did he recognize maybe that he made a big mistake for the first one, and now he's thinking, like, because we see this all the time in Premier League football, and so a lot of the time we see it in the GAA as well. Probably not so much in the GAA, but you'd see a referee make a bad decision, and then all of a sudden he makes another bad decision the other way, but it's to sort of even it out. And I haven't always believed that referees do that. Like, I don't think they actually think like that, but like, it does happen a lot of the time. And it could have been a case here where he's looking at it and thinking, well, here's a chance to rectify my mistake earlier and make it a more fair game. But yeah, like, it was mad. Like, with Lee Gannon, like, it's clearly just he's clearly just defending himself. It's like anything, if anyone runs up to you in any walk of life, you're gonna defend yourself. Like, you're gonna try something to defend yourself. And on a Gaelic football pitch, that's the common thing, So yeah, it was bizarre. Like, probably the fact that Sean Powter went down a bit too easily as well, and I think that made the decision for the referee. I don't think it was that strong of a shoulder that he had to go down as easily.
It wasn't, and it was shoulder to shoulder as well.
Yeah, so
it wasn't like he shouldered him in the chest or in the back, or like he hit him square on shoulder to shoulder.
No, yeah, like it's mad. Like, and yeah, like I suppose, like, the bizarre thing is, you could say the referee was being consistent, if anything. But then again, like, I think if he was to be consistent, he could have gave more yellow cards. He could have. There was James McCarthy got a yellow card for absolutely nothing. Like, but then there was
the one where O'Callaghan just started on him. Yeah,
yeah.
What is McCarthy supposed to do in that instance? Just take a smack and just do nothing.
Exactly. Exactly. Like how many times do we see referees just cop out and give a yellow each way? But then as well, like, there was another incident where I think McCarthy pulled the player back, and I remember thinking, I was like, oh, that I think that actually could be a yellow card, so he could actually go here. And then the referee did nothing. And I was like, wow, that would have been one where if he gave the yellow, because he prevented a clear scoring opportunity, so either a black or a yellow, which would have resulted in a red, and he did nothing. So it was a strange performance from the referee. Like, obviously we've seen a lot of people going mad at him on Twitter and everything, and like, I don't agree with that, but I do think at the same time, like, officials do need to be called out for bad errors like that, because we want to make sure that this doesn't happen in big games such as All-Ireland semi-finals or All-Ireland finals. Like, the game yesterday, like, the results, we'll see. It might be a bit inconsequential in terms of how the league ends up, but at the same time, yeah, just some very, very poor decisions there.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. Before we move off this game, two last points that I want to make. Obviously, the return of Jack McCaffrey, absolutely fantastic. That point that he got, like, just reminding us all just how good he is. And then, if you were in the Cork camp, how would you feel after this game? But start with the Jack McCaffrey one.
Yeah, like, I think seeing McCaffrey back, like, it was brilliant. It was just brilliant to see him go out there, and like, you were sort of wondering, is he still going to have that same Jack McCaffrey-esque sort of explosiveness? And I think there was one moment where he goes past two players and pops it over the bar. And I think, to be honest, that was my highlight of the game. Like, just that moment, like, just seeing that, like, I nearly wanted to celebrate that as if it was a goal, because it was like, he still got it. Like, he still got it even after 4 years. And he's still a young chap. Like, he's bound to still have it. But sometimes you just don't know when a player's been away for so long and you haven't seen them play. But yeah, like, I thought he was absolutely outstanding. What was your second question again? Sorry.
How would you feel if you were in the Cork camp after that?
Yeah, like when I was speaking to, like, obviously I had Matthew on the show doing a watch along yesterday, and when I spoke to him straight after the game, like, you could tell he was fairly deflated and disappointed. But then when I spoke to him a little bit later for the review show, he was a lot more positive then. So, like, it was definitely a case of a big missed opportunity. And and those opportunities probably don't come around too often for Cork. But at the same time, there is a lot of positives in terms of how Brian Hurley played, like really, really strong performance. Stephen Sherlock was a weird one. Like he didn't have a good game at all, and I think he was taken off at half time. So I don't know if there was an injury there. But considering as well, they have a lot of players who are playing Sigerson with UCC, Cathal O'Mahony, and a few others. Like there's Daniel O'Mahony as well. Like they've things are looking good for Cork. But it's just that same old thing with Cork where them playing well against Dublin, Kerry against some good sides. We see them do this time and time again.
Yeah.
But then they go out and play, like they're playing Limerick next week, and it would probably be the most Cork thing ever to somehow not win that game. Yeah. So, like it's about beating the teams they should be beating now as well, because clearly we can see they have the ability to do it.
Yeah, I completely agree. We'll move on then to Dublin's direct rival for the Division 2 title, Derry.